people of Judah were led by leaders who constantly disobeyed what God wanted them to faithfully be like. God had warned them through many prophets that unless they repented, that he would have to clean them up the way he saw fit. God did this cleanup by allowing the Babylonians to defeat and capture the people of Judah. Many of the people were taken into Babylon to live for 70 years. While in Babylon, King Nebuchadnezzar wanted to make sure the people of Judah forgot about God. He gathered all the young men together to have them trained to be good Babylonians. 4 of these young men were Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. God gave these 4 young men knowledge and skill in both books and life. They became so well trained in Babylon that when the king interviewed them, he found them far superior to all the other young men. They were given Babylonian names as one way of trying to make them give up being part of God's people. Daniel became Belteshazzar, Hananiah, Shadrach, Mishael, Meshach, and Azariah, Abednego. This story is about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These 3 began their time in the king's service. Whenever the king consulted them on anything, on books or on life, he found them 10 times better than all the Babylonian magicians in his kingdom put together. One time, King Nebuchadnezzar built a gold statue, 90 feet high and 9 feet thick. He set it up on the Dura plain in the province of Babylon. He ordered all the important leaders in the province, everybody who was anybody, to the dedication ceremony of the statue. They all showed up. Attention everyone! Every race, color, creed, listen! When you hear the band strike up, all the trumpets and trombones, the tubas and the baritones, the drums and the cymbals, fall to your knees and worship the gold statue that King Nebuchadnezzar has set up. Anyone who does not kneel and worship shall be thrown immediately into a roaring furnace. When the band started to play, everyone fell to their knees and worshipped the gold statue that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. But some Babylonian sorcerers stepped up and accused the Jewish people. Long live the king! You gave strict orders, O king, that when the big band started playing, everyone had to fall to their knees and worship the gold statue. And whoever did not go to their knees and worship it had to be pitched into the roaring furnace. Well, there are some Jews here, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, whom you have placed in high positions in the province of Babylon. These men are ignoring you, O king. They don't respect your gods, and they won't worship the gold statue you set up. Oh man, was King Nebuchadnezzar mad. He ordered Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to be brought in. Is it true, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you don't respect my gods and refuse to worship the gold statue that I have set up? I'm giving you a second chance. From now on, when the big band strikes up, you must go to your knees and worship the statue I have made. If you don't worship it, you will be pitched into a roaring furnace. No questions asked. Who is the God who can rescue you from my power? Your threat means nothing to us. If you throw us into the fire, the God we serve can rescue us from your roaring furnace and anything else you might cook up, O king. But even if he doesn't, it wouldn't make a bit of difference, O king. We still wouldn't serve your gods or worship the gold statue you set up. Nebuchadnezzar, his face purple with anger, interrupted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He ordered the furnace fired up 7 times hotter than usual. He ordered strong men from the army to tie them up, hands and feet, and throw them into the roaring furnace. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, bound by hand and foot, fully dressed from head to toe, were pitched into the roaring fire. Because the king was in such a hurry and the furnace was so hot, flames from the furnace killed the men who carried Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego into it, while the fire raged around Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Suddenly, King Nebuchadnezzar jumped up in alarm. Didn't we throw 3 men bound hand and foot into the fire? We did, O king. Well, look, I see 4 men walking around freely in the fire, completely unharmed. And the 4th man looks like a son of the gods. Nebuchadnezzar went to the door of the roaring furnace. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the high God, come out here. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego walked out of the fire. All the important people, the government leaders and the king's counselors, gathered around to examine them and discovered that the fire hadn't so much as touched the 3 men. Not a hair singed, not a scorch mark on their clothes, not even the smell of fire on them. Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He sent an angel and rescued his servants who trusted in him. They ignored the king's orders and laid their bodies on the line rather than serve or worship any god but their own. Therefore I issue this decree. Anyone anywhere of any race, creed, or color who says anything against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego will be ripped to pieces, limb from limb, and their houses torn down. There has never been a God who can pull off a rescue like this. The king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to be leaders in Babylon. They knew that because God was with them, even if they were to die, they were going to be all right. Jesus, God's very Son, knew that too when he went to the cross to die for our sins. Like the 3 men, he was offered a chance to save himself. But Jesus knew that it was God's plan for him to pay the price with his death. Jesus also knew that God would raise him to life. We too know that God is with us. When we face moments like these 3 men faced, we can faithfully say that God will rescue us the way God sees fit. Whether that means we can keep living life here right now, or if it means that we die, then we know that we will rise in God's new creation. Thanks for listening.